Good afternoon, upper school students. Mrs. Brown and I wanted to talk with you just briefly today. Obviously, in an ideal world, we would all be in Zoover, but that's probably not a great idea right now. But the most important message we want to give to you is to tell you how appreciative we are. The first 2 or 3 days back have been just absolutely great, and we want to thank you for your enthusiasm and cooperation. I know it hasn't been the easiest of starts with all this going on around us, but we really do appreciate your efforts to getting us off to such a great start. You know, one of the things that we talk about often is the fact that Mountain Sales Academy has extremely high expectations. And I think that even though I'm sure we all complain about it sometimes, the fact is that our teachers expect your very best. And your very best is both behaviorally and academically. So the commitment from the upper school teachers, Mrs. Brown and myself, is that we're going to continue to do all that we can to raise your expectations that you have of yourself. So let's talk a little bit about what might be a little bit different or maybe important this year. The first screen that you see is a little bit of a tweak in the regular schedule of the school day. As you will see, we have extended each class by about 5 minutes. You will begin with homeroom at 8 o'clock, go through your schedule, just like you did on Wednesday, and dismiss at 3:15. This allows our teachers to have more instructional time with you, and we hope that we will be able to serve you a little bit better this way. So that's the normal regular schedule, and we will follow that on most Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Then we also have tutorial schedule during the week. This is a schedule that we'll follow on Tuesdays and Thursdays. On these days, we actually end our regular class day at 2:45. So this gives you a lot of time after school to meet with your teachers. There will be times when your teachers say to you, you really need to come by. There'll be other times when you'll approach your teacher, but this is a great time to make up tests, get extra help, very similar to the way that we handled Flex last year. This is how our Tuesday and Thursday tutorial will work. We ask that you be available to teachers if they ask to see you or if you just need help from 2:45 till 3:15. Now, teachers will be here till 3:45 every day, so if you need a little extra time, just let your teacher know, and I'm sure that we'll be able to work that out. Again, makeup testing and extra help, it just takes a little bit of pressure off you, and it also takes a little pressure off the teacher to try to schedule these makeup work, tests and so forth. Campus procedures, a couple things that we're going to do to try to make life a little bit easier for you this year. The first is our club schedule. Now, upper school clubs will meet at the discretion of the moderator. So the times when we used to try to schedule the blue gold, that really didn't work well for our students because you want to do lots of different things. So pay attention now. You'll be getting emails and notifications from your moderator, and they'll let you know when your respective club is meeting. I also want to emphasize the importance of following the procedures in terms of parking. There are 3 spots where parents are allowed to drop you off if you're not driving. One is the spot right between Cuddy Hall and the big lawn area. Again, crossing guard will be available here. Another spot where you can be dropped off is right there below Zoover at Appleton Avenue. And again, we have crossing guard there. And the one that is used most often by those students who drive is the one directly across from the student parking lot. Guys, to keep you safe, we have to insist that you use only these 3 spots for drop-off and pick-up. The no-nos in terms of, the no-nos include this spot between Trinity House and Gray Cottage. That's an area that a lot of you have a tendency to pull in. I also want to emphasize at this point in time, never, ever, ever park in a handicapped space. This is a non-negotiable. There are people out there who need these spaces, so we ask you to be very mindful and respectful of others. Do not park in handicapped spaces. The other area that sometimes you have a tendency to get dropped off is right there outside of Sheridan Hall on Columbus Street. Makes it very, very difficult for our teachers to come in and out when your parents are dropping you off here or you're parking and I'm trying to come across the street. I have asked our teachers to be very mindful and forceful, for lack of a better word, in making sure that you do not use these areas that are not regular crossing guard areas. Uniform checks. I'll be very honest with you as upper school students. Last year, I think that we kind of slipped a little bit in terms of our high expectations in terms of uniform and grooming. And so I've asked the teachers to be especially diligent this year. And this is one of the reasons why you'll see that we are now in single gender homerooms. It just makes it easier for us. We'll be checking on it on a daily basis. And again, there will be no warnings here. And so we expect that as upper school students, you've read the handbook, you know what the guidelines are. So don't be surprised. Just do what's expected, read the handbook, and we'll be absolutely fine. The shuttle bus to Capitol Fields on any day of the week, regardless of whether it's a tutorial day or regular schedule, we will leave out, can't read that, is it 3:20? Okay, thank you very much. At 3:20, we'll leave. Attendance. Attendance is an area in which we're going to focus very heavily because we think this is a situation that is totally within your control. We will make sure, sorry, I can't read the screen. Can y'all change that? Okay, thank you. Attendance will be taken at the start of every single class. So whether it's homeroom, 6th period, 7th period, attendance will be taken by the teachers at the start of every class. You will not be admitted to homeroom after the bell. Again, I think this was an area where we kind of let our guard down a little bit, and we did at times not be as diligent as we could have been in terms of enforcing this homeroom by the start of the period. You have to go to the office and sign in to receive an entry slip into homeroom. If you are tardy to school, late to homeroom, you will receive 2 demerits this year. Again, that's a stiffer penalty than last year. We feel that getting to school on time is your responsibility, and we ask you to pay close attention to that. We were going to have masks tomorrow, but we've changed it a little bit. Again, because of COVID protocols, we don't think it would be a good idea to have everyone in Zoover tomorrow. So what we'll do with masks, it'll be a couple of weeks, but we will go ahead and make sure to have opening of school masks tomorrow. For teachers who are listening right now, we will send an email out a little bit later. We will ask the seniors to come to Zoover right at 3 o'clock, the last 15 minutes of the last period of the day, so that Father Casey and Dr. German and myself can talk with the seniors about some of the protocols for back to school mass next week. Senior privileges. We ask that all upper school students respect the seniors and realize that the skybox, that's the area of the cafeteria that overlooks the gym, will be reserved for seniors during the day, except for the time that we have upper or middle school lunch. So if you're a non-senior and if you have a free period, we do ask that you not congregate in the skybox. COVID information, again, this is something that's with us, and we're going to do the best we can with it. But some of the things I want to talk to you about, the absolutely most important thing I'm going to say to you about COVID today, respect one another. Respect one another. We have to understand that every family situation is different. So if a student chooses to wear a mask, that's great. If a student chooses not to wear a mask, that's great. Remember, respecting one another is a fundamental belief at Mount DeSales, and so we are going to be very firm in making sure that there's no comments about whether a student is wearing a mask or not wearing a mask. Now, the truth of the matter is, guys, I wish I could sit here and tell you that I knew exactly what was going to happen for the rest of the year. I don't. It's very likely, maybe, that protocols could shift. I could send an email out next Tuesday and say that we're all wearing masks. So again, we ask you to be flexible. We realize that there is a pandemic that's still very real out there, and we'll do the best that we can. Tomorrow, we're going to send an email to your parents, and we are going to explain to your parents exactly what to do. If you're vaccinated, if you're not vaccinated, if you're exposed, if you test positive, all that information will be laid out and given to your parents tomorrow. Last thing I want to say before introducing Mrs. Brown is that within the next month or so, we will be doing our emergency response drills. We've been extraordinarily pleased at how well you've handled that, the seriousness with which you've taken those drills. Very important. It's not fun and games. It's a very important thing that we go through. So we ask when that time comes that you be very respectful and serious about performing those drills. It's now my pleasure. I'm going to turn the program over to Ms. Brown. She has a couple of announcements for you. Thank you so much for your time and attention.
Hi everyone. I hope your school year has started off really well. I really just have one quick announcement, and it was really a reminder that tomorrow is the last day for Drop Add. Please remember that Drop Add we do once a year, so if you're interested in changing any classes for this semester or next semester, we'll need to go ahead and get that taken care of by tomorrow. You can find Drop Add forms in the St. Joseph's Hall lobby. You're welcome to come in, fill those out, and leave those with Mrs. Brantley in the St. Joseph's Hall office. And if you have any questions or concerns, you can certainly email us, but also just know if you come to St. Joseph's Hall, there's someone there who is more than happy to help you. So again, if you have any questions, please let me know. And at this time, homeroom teachers, if you don't have any other business with your homeroom, please feel free to dismiss your students. Thanks.